Bam, we're live.
Bam.
We had a problem here. Say again, please. Houston, we've had a problem.
And that's the way it felt for event number 6. John Young's in the house. Brian Friend, Be Friendly, Hiller from Hiller Fit, Taylor Self from Self Made Training, J.R. Howell from CrossFit Crash, myself on the back end, the executive producer of the show, Matt Souza. It looks like Brian's doing a lift at the Rogue.
Oh, get that shit up, Ryan.
Well, it looks like it looks like he's in a snatch.
Oh, he looks like he's gonna break his back.
Oh, it's an
Looks
axle
like he
bar?
hasn't No, it's a regular barbell.
No, it's a log.
No,
it's a
that's
log.
a log.
I know. I'm fucking with you.
Oh.
Brian, did you shit yourself a little?
The sharded just a bit. Is that John Young?
Oh, there he is. Good man. Oh, wow.
Done.
He's a horse. John Young?
I had to let John have one.
Had
You're
to
a good
let him
dude.
have one. Had to let him have one.
The strongmen are going to be irate because their event was pushed back.
Brian has a sex appeal of a school bus fire while doing that lift. Johan Lopez, I hope you have a box of Kleenex because someone from your gene pool got fucked in that last workout. His name is Jorge Fernandez. We need Hiller screenshots to show how many of them didn't control the bag over the finish line.
No, who cares about that?
We don't even know what the rules are for this event. Should we start with some nice stuff? Who is that, Brian? Who's that?
That's Froning.
Definitely not Froning.
That's the guy who's stronger than John.
Okay, does anyone know, can anyone, I'm going to ask some questions and you guys tell me if anyone has the answers to this before we start talking about event number 6, if you don't mind. What ended the race? How do you know when someone was done?
A no rep
Event
ended.
6.
But how do you know when someone, like, how do you know what had to cross the finish line? Were these athletes were
had to
chipped?
cross the white line.
What did?
Your feet, both feet had to touch the white line with the bag in control.
Oh, is that what it said with the bag? Okay. So
It
if
didn't
you
say it
drop,
anywhere, but I've heard that.
so we don't know. So even let's say you drop the bag behind the white line, but your feet were on the white
I
line.
can say with some certainty that that's what they know. That's what they were briefed on. Both feet had to touch the white line.
Okay. It's interesting.
That's
I wonder
not
if
what was happening. But I didn't
it,
hear that from the event itself.
what do you mean? You think that the clocks were going longer or stopping sooner, or you're saying that when you watch?
I'm saying that when you barrel roll over the line, your feet never touch. There you go. So like in this instance, both feet did not touch the line to finish with the bag under control.
So look, okay, so that's Laura Horvath there, and is the chip on her feet?
Yes, ankles.
Okay, so right there, the clock doesn't stop.
It stops as soon as they barrel roll over that bag. So a fraction of a second later, the clock's going to stop. But
Okay.
who else is in that? Ellie Turner, Saunders,
Danielle
Raptis.
Is that Danielle Brandon to the right
Danielle
of her?
Brandon, Laura Horvath, who went on to the final. And if I suppose that what I heard was correct, which is that both feet had to touch the white, they DNF'd. And it looks like Raptis and Saunders would have been the ones in the final.
It doesn't make sense that they would have to touch the white line. It would just be that they have to cross the white line.
Yeah, I think it should be
That's
like
a
a
better
goal
one.
line. I think it should be like a goal line. I loved it, dude. When they ate shit like that, that was the best part of the event.
I agree. I'm about to put my beer down and show John how to lift that. Thank you.
There you go. So that was also a finished event right there.
That person diving on the far right?
I think that's Emma Lawson.
Okay.
That's the
I'm
person
guessing.
diving,
God, I'd love to know this. Okay, my second question is this. So we don't have a firm answer on this. My second question is, did you have to? Was it all the heats went and then the best group of times went, or did you have to? Was it certain one person from every heat that moved on? How did that work?
Best times.
The best times.
went, yes, from any
Okay.
of the heats.
So if all the best times were in the same,
do is you were placed in the later heats, so you saw what the other times were from the earlier heats. So they kind of tiered them that way.
Okay. I'll go straight to the elephant in the room. We'll start by going to Andrew Hiller's Instagram. There was something being talked about in the chat, and I was on probably 5 different text threads, and there was concern about the center lane, specifically in how it affected Roman Krenikov, BKG, Lazar Jukic. Hold on, there's more. Unfortunately, there's more. Jorge Fernandez and Yanikoski. When it affected Yanikoski, the problem moved from the center lane to lane number 5. There was a judge there that was basically, we didn't, I think she no-repped every single male athlete in the heats. We haven't checked the females in totality yet, but Danny Spiegel got her and was no-repped, it appears, and possibly Jacqueline Dahlstrom. Some of us think that this has affected the outcome of this event quite seriously. So let's go ahead and play the clip from Andrew Hiller's Instagram.
Velner gets to work here. Yep. And a
Watch
no
the
rep for
center
Roman
lane.
Krenikov. Velner with the barbell down. Medeiros and Velner first.
Under the bar was astonishing.
This rope climb, they will be first to the barbell, followed by Fernandez Olsen.
On the field. Getting under the bar quickly, not
Full time in the last heat. First on the overhead squats, just ahead of Velner and Medeiros. And Velner, a no rep. He's moving pretty quickly here.
2 no reps for Koski as well.
Rope climb. Velner
Koski ended up getting 3 no reps there. It appears to be happening at the top. Do you want to chime in on that, Brian? Did you see anything when you were down there on the field?
Wow. There were a lot of things to see, but give me a second. I'm recovering. I just got
Okay,
another loss.
JR, what did you think about that? Was she too hyper focused at the hip extension? Do you see what's going on there?
Yeah, I mean, watching it real time, there were some athletes that were more questionable than others, but especially with Jorge Fernandez, he was coming up onto his toes, almost jumping, trying to show full hip extension and still getting no reps. So in his case specifically, it was really hard to tell that there was anything that could even be considered questionable. I think the whole issue is just the speed at which they're squatting and the load that they're squatting with. If you're pausing to show hip extension, you have no chance of performing well in the workout, period.
Yeah. If you think about a wall ball, have you ever seen someone called for a no rep for hip extension on a wall ball? Like, no, because they're jumping. And essentially that's what these guys were doing out there. It's tough.
Do you think that any of it could have to do with the fact of the size of their asses? I mean that it doesn't look like he's getting full extension because Jorge Fernandez has an ass the size of a fucking Dynamax ball.
It's a dump truck. Brian was looking at Noah's butt and was like, dude, look at Noah's ass. Sorry for calling you out on air. I mean, no, I don't think that has anything to do with it, but I don't think that has anything to do with it, brother.
Okay.
But yeah, they're big.
JR knows what the real issue here is.
Go ahead, JR.
I just want to know if he's going to say it, what I'm thinking.
No, you go ahead, man.
It's the programming of the event. So, like, this judge is put into a terrible position. So even if she were making the right calls, it's when you look up and down, she's potentially calling things that the other judges aren't also calling by the way that the event was written up.
I'm not understanding you.
10 over at squat zone at this speed. It's up to the judge to make the judgment call, and then it's going to affect the outcome of the 30-second event.
I don't know if I think the programming exacerbates the bad call, but I don't think it dictates the bad call.
It puts the judge into a terrible position.
It puts her in a hard position, but that's a lot of bad calls.
Let me ask you this, Hiller, real quick, because are you suggesting that overhead squat shouldn't be in competitions?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that in like this sprint style workout, it's now up to the judge. I mean, like JR just said, he was jumping to show extension, and I guess he was still getting no reps, so those would be considered bad calls, and there were definitely bad calls in there. I was watching Nick Matthew over at squat, and I'm like, I don't see a single issue here, and she just keeps on dinging him, and then he ended up taking less in that heat. Same thing happened with Roman. and I think he actually went for an appeal, if I heard correctly, but I don't have confirmation on that.
At least 3 athletes in the men's side appealed the overhead squats in that lane. That I know.
Yeah.
None of them were granted their appeal.
Fascinating.
I think
they don't reverse engineer the idea of the workout in practice. They're like, okay, how's this going to go? What's going to go wrong? It's like they didn't think twice about it.
I just still have a hard time. I have a hard time getting on board with the fact that the workout. I mean, dude, you made the reel. That's a lot of calls.
It's a lot of calls. So yeah, the judge is also at fault for sure.
Hold on a second. So let me say this. So we wouldn't be having this discussion if that wouldn't have been happening with that particular judge. And that right there, doesn't that negate what Hiller's saying?
What do you mean we wouldn't be if with that particular judge?
Let's
that makes it sound like we were only focusing on her. I think
no. What I'm saying is because all the other judges seem to be fine. All the other judges seem to be making calls that were allowing the race to continue.
They're at least on par for the course.
Right. So I'm saying that maybe Hiller's off, and it's not the programming, it's the judge.
Well, then you ask yourself, why didn't they remove the judge?
I think
they have to have other judges who they could have. No, she was in there through the final. I mean, she didn't do the last two, but she did every event up until the last two.
I wonder why they moved her from lane 3 to 5. That was weird because none of the other judges moved.
Hiller, she was in the second to last heat. That's when Koski
I said the second to last, but I'm not talking. She wasn't in the final two, where it was Medeiros versus.
Okay, the final two athletes, not the final two heats.
Correct.
Okay. This is pretty sad, to be honest, because I think that the people that she dinged, in all honesty, would have all won. I think Nick Matthews would have won. I think Jorge Hernandez would have won that particular heat.
BKG, it cost BKG 2 spots in his heat and a spot in the top 10. And we don't know how much of an effect it had on Roman.
Yeah, he had 3 no reps, right?
It's painful to watch one judge affect a competition this much. It's interesting. Do you think the commentators noticed it and they were just biting their tongues?
Oh, I think I got texts from people who noticed it.
Okay.
People in the comments at home noticed. People in the stands were getting in an uproar about it. But at some point, it was
it's hard. It
was fairly noticeable. There's only 5 athletes out there. They're all doing the same thing at the same time. She's in the center lane. It was as in the center of the action as it could be for something that you don't want to happen in a competition. It's very unfortunate.
I think this is actually they moved her to lane 5 when Justin went. I think it's a conspiracy by Rogue to let him win the competition.
I like that.
It's fucking worse than JFK, man.
Oh my goodness. Okay, and to be and it could change the. Well, does it affect?
Just in case anyone's unaware, but just Taylor got a blunt force to the head this morning, so just take everything he says a little bit light.
Excuse me. Yes.
Yeah, I don't know shit about shit. So that's pretty true.
Ian Adams, Bush did 9/11. Okay.
Who's Bush?
That's right. Can we cruise over and look at the men's leaderboard?
Thank you, Wad Zombie. Thank you for that comment. No, we're not going to dox her. We're not pulling anything up about her. Everybody fucks up.
Yeah.
Wow, you're a good dude, Taylor. Okay. Justin Medeiros, 495 points, has taken the lead back. Patrick Vellner in second place with 475, easily within striking distance. Roman Krennikov, 435. Samuel Quant, 420. Jeffrey Adler, 420. BKG, 395. To J.R. Howell. JR, when you see these top 5 guys from Medeiros to Adler, what do you see when you see these scores?
Looks like a 2-man race to me.
Yeah. Unfortunately for Roman.
But I should probably hold off on saying that because the strength event always has some outliers and always has some people take big hits. So let's wait until after tonight. But from what it looks like here, that 40-point gap between Pat and Roman, I don't see Pat relinquishing that many points over the next few workouts. And then obviously Justin being 20 up on Pat may already be a big gap if Justin continues to perform consistently like he always does.
Brian, at the CrossFit Games this year, there was that event where they had to run and then do shoulder to overhead. I think it was with 300 pounds, the men. and Patrick Vellner had an uncharacteristically bad event. Was that his worst event at the games?
Oh, I can't remember if it was his worst event finish, but it was noticeably tough for him. I mean, he was failing a rep in every round.
When you hear that they're going to have to carry those jerry cans and then do that event, are you concerned for Patrick Vellner going against Medeiros and Roman Krenikov with this next event of taking the log from ground to overhead?
In this workout in particular, absent the tie break, I would have favored Medeiros over these and Roman over Vellner either way. I think that the jerry can carry is actually most. I have a feeling there are going to be some ties here on the log, and the jerry can carry should be advantageous to Vellner in the tie break format. So it actually may end up gaining him some points relative to his potential in the lift because of what the tie break is. So my prediction is that the tiebreak is advantageous to Vellner, but it doesn't mean that he's going to not still give up points to those men.
Let's go back for a second. Team No Excuses. Medeiros let go of the bag 2 steps before the white line in the second to last round. Hiller, check it out.
I'm on it. Sounds like standard operating procedure for Medeiros at this point, though.
Well, I got to say, I mean, we talked about it in the lead up to this event that what the finish of the workout was supposed to look like would be important. We talked about several different options, and what I saw take place on the field of play, regardless of what was briefed, didn't definitively answer that question for me. I saw some people throwing the bag, which is what I think that this person is talking about, over the line. We saw obviously some people tumbling over the line. We saw some people fall short of the line. We saw some people run all the way through the line, and all of these times counted. So I'm not really sure what the standard was, but whatever it was, it didn't seem to be carried out, equally across all of the heats and all the athletes.
Yeah, what that comment brought up is 100% accurate. He dives from like halfway through the field.
But that person's saying that he threw the bag. Did he throw the bag or dive with it?
No, we didn't. You can't
with it.
You can't throw the bag. I mean, we go back to
No, Taylor, you can. I saw BKG do it. He let go of the bag, and the bag propelled forward while he was still behind the line.
Yes, but is his time the chip timer or when the bag crosses the line? Like, is the bag on the chip?
We don't know.
The bag
time
is
a question
for Katie, whatever.
The time is definitely the chip timer. What we don't know is, was the standard that you had to carry the ball into the end zone in order for the touchdown to count, basically.
Correct.
Well, if that's the case, then how can you make that call without doing video review? Because they video review every single touchdown essentially that is scored. So now we go back to, well, if we're not going to video review anything else, why are we going to nitpick this?
This would be an easy, throw on a 2-second penalty too, on the back end.
What would have been?
Your both feet didn't touch. 2-second penalty.
Sure, 2 seconds is massive, but again, this just goes to
It makes you want to do it.
People have to, we have to understand it. We've been talking about it. Is that when it comes to Rogue, there is a lot of lack of information. There are things that are not communicated ahead of time that are clearly relevant for the workout. They have always been like this, and this is how it is. And if you're coming here to compete or to watch, you have to come with that understanding. And if you don't like it, then you should probably just not watch it.
Nash Quinns, I think that's why it took so long to get times if they stopped using the chip timer, because they started giving people finishes with half bags across. I think it's important in a competition to know what stops the clock. We all know what starts the clock. It's the beep. We should absolutely know with some serious boundaries and guidelines what stops the clock. You have to cross with the bag in your hand, and that stops the clock. It doesn't seem to be asking for a lot.
I agree.
It's not asking for a lot. It's not asking for a lot to know what the time caps are. There's absolutely no reason that revealing the time caps early would have a negative influence on anything, but we haven't had that information. We haven't seen a set of standards for any of the movements. This is just how it is here. And I agree with you, Sevan. It's, it would be a lot more enjoyable to know those things, a lot easier to talk about them. But, what are we supposed to do?
I understand the difficulty in judging someone if their hips open at the top at real time, but there shouldn't be the things that can be controlled, which is an athlete crossing the finish line holding a bag is easy to judge and easy to define. Gonzalo Diaz Monreal. Are those euros?
Yeah, that looks like a euro.
Euros.
Well, thank you. Having a lot of fun listening to your coverage of the competition. A few coins to keep going. Thank you. Oh, shit. Thank you, brother. Thank you very, very much. Okay, can we go over to the females leaderboard?
Does anyone know what happened with Raptis and why they overturned it? Was the cameraman in the way?
Chip. I think it was a chip malfunction.
Brian, go ahead.
We were able to communicate with her coach. He's not entirely sure how it happened, but I think 3 athletes from her heat that she finished ahead of ended up being seated before her. And one of them, at least in Jack and Dawson, advanced to the next round. They appealed it. They had some kind of a video or a screenshot or something, and they ended up getting a ruling in her favor, allowing her to compete in the next round, obviously individually. That's the extent of what we know.
So basically, they didn't realize what place she took, and when they were seated the next round, they left her out. Then they showed a picture to the judges, and they're like, "Oh shit, you did better than what the chip says. You beat the people who the chip says beat you." And so then they had to have her go back and do her own heat to get a second round heat time. Make sense?
And basically, from what I can understand, is they were not really interested in any of the appeals that had to do with no reps for overhead squats. But that's not what she was appealing. She was appealing something that was quite different and apparently fairly obvious in terms of her finish relative to her heat and therefore relative to the rest of the women.
Okay, I'm going to ask you.
Lauren, can we pull up Lauren? Do you see that comment? Sorry. Haven't they said that Rogue is way looser on standards? And part of the reason it is more fun? If that's one, I don't think that's the case at all. There's over.
I've heard that too. Heard that.
There's $250,000 on the line.
Right.
Additionally, the judges that are judging here are invited to this competition because of their experience and success as judges in other parts of the season. It's not just like a random group of people. All of these people have a lot of experience doing this, and that's recognized by Rogue. So it doesn't really line up with the fact that their standards would be looser if they're bringing in people that they think are some of the best at upholding standards.
I'll ask Katie about that tonight. Are the standards at Rogue
easier? Looser.
Are you looser? Don't ask that.
Well, how should I?
That was a joke. I was being facetious.
Jacqueline Robertson, thank you. $5 Canadian. Thank you very, very much.
Speaking of looser, everyone thinks that Spieler and Bridges were a little out of it. They were giving their commentary.
I want to have them on the show bad to talk about these workouts.
Curious too.
I will send Josh an invite now.
Oh, Sevan, that reminds me. I was talking to Facundo earlier. He reiterated that he'd love to get an invite to the show.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Tell him thank you. It's at the top. It's at the top of my list. Clydesdale Media. I've judged at Rogue 2 years. The standards are not looser. Okay, fair enough. From Scott Schweitzer.
My girlfriend's a judge.
Susie,
they take
you
it so
pull
seriously.
those pictures up.
Okay, hold on one second.
With the arrows.
They're doing the jerry can tiebreaker first, so it's fair that everyone does it rested compared to the sandbag event at the games where you had to go immediately into the tiebreaker or just lifting back. Well, that makes it where everyone's worked. Oh, I see what you're saying. You're saying whoever went last with the sandbag got less rest.
I never thought of that, but it's very accurate.
Maybe they'd had a cocktail or two. Bridges didn't seem out of it to me, but Spiel looked like he had taken a hit off the bong.
He's from Colorado, no?
Right.
Right.
Utah.
Taylor's girlfriend is the one who no-repped everyone.
Negative. Brian.
Yeah, we cleared that up. I'm like, hey, Taylor, is this your girlfriend? He's like, no, man. I'm like, all right, well, good.
Taylor, it would be basically impossible for Taylor to pull a girl that doesn't have red hair.
Laura Horvat, first place with 495 points. Annie Thorsdottir, 435. Gabriella Magawa, 430. Daniel Brandon, 425. Ellie Turner with 400, almost 100 points behind first place. Emma Lawson, 395. JR four consecutive wins, a new rogue record for Laura Horvat. What do you see here when you look at these numbers? 6 events in with 4 to go.
Yeah, I mean, she's been on a crazy tear, and she's shown a lot of like a broad repertoire of fitness here. There's a lot of upper body pulling today in the first 2 workouts. So it's kind of, I mean, I know a lot of people went into those thinking that she would be a front runner. I'm just interested to see how the event tonight goes for her, and more so tomorrow with all the heavy pressing.
I think actually the center lane judge's name was simply Mander.
I think you're right too. I think that is her name too.
God, I knew it. I've been preparing my whole life for this moment.
I would also like to say this. There's a misconception about what Tia and Brooke are doing. A lot of people keep saying that they've passed on Rogue to go to the event down under, and I don't think that's an accurate assessment of what happened. They've decided not to do Rogue. Period. Stop. Because Ricky Garrard is doing both. So for whatever reason, they've decided not to do Rogue. They're not. It's not because they're both happening on the same weekend or that you can't do both. And when you say it the way people are saying it, it sounds like you can't do both, and you can. You can absolutely do.
Sounds like
both.
You can't think with any sort of thought behind it.
Brian, when you look at Laura Horvat's score and knowing that there's a deficit handstand parallel push-up workout coming up, are you thinking that everyone is still within shot, that she could lose 100 points on that workout?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that workout alone is the reason why I did not pick her to win this competition. I think that outside of a workout like that, she is clearly the fittest woman in this field. But because of that workout, especially the fact that we don't know if not only could it drop her down the leaderboard, it could just eliminate her from being in contention. She might just end up finishing last if they have the same standard and she hasn't improved. But yeah, I think she's going to give away somewhere between 80 and 100 points to Annie Thorisdottir, and it's going to be a battle, largely depending on what that final workout ends up being.
Do you like the programming of that workout, Taylor? The handstand push-up workout?
It's a repeat. I like it. When we talked about the programming earlier, I said really my main complaint at initial glance on the workouts was that wasn't just a full depth kipping parallel handstand push-up. I just like the visual of the 14-inch depth on the full depth parallettes. And I just don't see how a 4-inch deficit for guys, even strict, or a 2-inch deficit for ladies is harder than a full depth kipping. So I don't know. That was my main thing.
But it's not an unfair. What I'm really getting at is it's not an unfair workout. It's a totally fair workout. It belongs in an event, and it just exposes Laura's hole. It's not a bad event.
No, it's not a bad workout at all. She sucks at handstand push-ups.
Barbell spin Saxon is doing both too.
What's he doing other than this?
The event in Down Under.
Oh, wow.
Kate, Sevan, you're the only one who thought that. Oh, I'm the only one that listened. I think you mean I'm the only one that listens.
Somebody said Tia's not doing the event because it put her in a higher tax bracket.
She's already in the highest tax bracket. So is it just a 2-man race now? Is Gabby Magawa still in it, Andrew?
Gabby? Yeah, she is. She's actually.
She's not.
You don't think so?
No, she'll take too big a hit on the ring muscle ups.
Oh, okay.
I think Danielle and Andy are probably more likely to be 1 and 2.
I think Danielle Brandon can finish number 1 still, and everyone's been hating on her all week for giving up on the back squat workout.
Yeah, she quit. Fucking quit her.
That would be remarkable if she makes the podium. That'll be remarkable if she takes 19th. JR, one of the observations I made during that last event was that Danielle's Patrick Vellner said that each round. No, sorry. It was Justin Madera said in his exit interview that in each round he was making adjustments to try to get better and better and better. He was tweaking and finding places where he could improve. Whereas I felt like Danielle Brandon was getting worse and worse with picking up the bag and the bag placement. Jacob Hepner, what's up, buddy?
Hey, what's going on?
How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing okay. We're here for one more event. We got a log lift, so I'm stoked about it. I think the opening weight is 171. which Olivia hit at the end of a Metcon like last week. So I'm excited because half the girls I don't think can do it. So
nice.
I'm here for it.
Jacob, when you're there, are you chomping at the bit to get back in the ring?
No, I compete in shooting instead. It's a lot less stressful on my body and a lot less muscle ups and pistols required. Different kind of pistols. So,
how is it when you and Josh Bridges are in the same room? Is it all good?
He was out in the field earlier because they were announcing that he was.
Was he drunk? Was he drunk?
I'm not gonna lie. Him and Chris Feeler, I think it was the first time they'd ever touched a microphone and talked. I was like, so Josh actually, they gave Josh the microphone and they were talking to him, and everyone was cheering. And as soon as it was quiet, I immediately started yelling "boo" out loud. He looked straight at me. So we were talking earlier. We were talking and laughing earlier and just joking about all sorts of things. So it's fun.
Jacob, Lauren Khalil from the Morning Chalk-Up did an interview with Olivia Kerstetter. She looked younger than ever in that video. I had no idea that she was still eligible this going into the 2023 season.
One more year, yeah.
Teen, and she said that this was kind of just a test to see which way she should go, whether she should go individual or teen. It's really unbelievable. It's unprecedented, right?
Yeah, I think I don't actually know when Mal did it. She'll be 17 in December, so she'll be 17 by the start of this season. She'll have one more year of eligibility, but I don't know when Mal or Emma or all the rest of the girls that have gone before her went to their first year at the game. So yeah, we're kind of using this as a, in the long run, it's her decision to make. She's a grown woman; she can make her own decisions. This is kind of a litmus test to figure out, okay, where do you want to go with this? What do you want to do? Personal opinion, I think you should go for it and try the games. I mean, what I told her was, you already kind of womped on them last year in the teenage division, and the two girls that were even remotely close to you already aged out. So do you want to go back and challenge yourself, or do you want to go back and just womp on them more? That's really kind of the way to look at it.
Let me play devil's advocate here for a second. What about the fact that she could go there and build her confidence, though? She could go to the individual and get the experience, or she could go to the teen and build her confidence, right?
Yeah, I mean, look, I get the idea of confidence, but let me ask you this. When you go into the gym, anything in life, right, do you learn more from the things in life that challenge you or the things that give you confidence? That's a question.
I guess it depends. I guess it depends on where I'm at in my life. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like I don't want to interview Jacob Heppner on my first podcast. A big name like you. I'd like to start with I want to get some success under my belt.
Start with Josh, someone who doesn't talk very well, not very eloquent.
But I guess what you're saying is she's confident enough. She already womped them last year. She knows she's the queen of that division, and there's nothing there for her even really.
I mean, yeah, we've already talked about she actually walked away, so I can talk about her now. I was kind of afraid to talk about her the next day, but she's got a good head on her shoulders. And so, if this was me and I was having, obviously she's struggled in a couple events so far, right? If you look at the leaderboard, especially running, not her forte. But she's got a good head screwed on her where she can bounce back, and mentally she's like, you know what, I'm having fun. That's the whole purpose of this and the learning. And she got done with the one to forever, the dual workout. And she walked up to me when she was done because she stood next to me next to the fence. And she goes, I think the one thing I need to work on, as she goes, is like a killer instinct, like go out there and go win. And to me, that showcases that you're learning more failing than you are going out there and just beating up on everybody and saying, I don't got to do anything. Like, I'm already winning. What's the purpose? Like, I'd rather see you go out there and lose and then be like, what do I need to work on? A killer attitude, killer instinct, running, you name the list goes on and on.
Jacob, Chase Ingram from Get With The Programming said, ask Scott Panchek how his knee is doing. Chase, that's Jacob Heppner. I know the old guys are all fucking jumbled up. They all look the same, but I appreciate wrong guy, but thank you.
Did you see me earlier? I was competing earlier. I did really, really well. Cole, you can look me up.
Yeah, Cole Sager, you're killing it. You're killing it.
How Ben Bergeron's doing.
Hey, has anyone mistaken you as Cole Sager?
No, but funny story. 2021 CrossFit Games. Scott had recently just had his kid. I believe he had a newborn at home. And Scott was competing that year. I was not. I was coaching Olivia. And fan came up to me in the middle of like Vendor Village. Legitimately, I had an 8-minute conversation with him thinking I was Scott. But I know Scott enough that I can answer all the questions. You know, like, how's my wife doing? How's my baby doing? Have an 8-minute conversation. At the end of the 8 minutes, I was like, I got to go. And I was like, hey, man, just to let you know, like, you're a good dude. I said, but I'm Jacob Heppner. Dude just was like, I'm so sorry. I was like, dude, you made for a good story for later. So that's all that matters.
That's awesome. Hey, thanks for taking the time to talk to us. You the man.
Yeah. Anytime. I'll give you back to Brian. Brian?
Mr. J.R. Howell, what about Danielle, the way she was picking up the bag? It looked like it was getting worse every single round. Did you see that?
Yeah, well, you know, we've talked about maybe some low back issues that she's had to try to work around over the past year or so, and that's definitely a movement that if you do 10 fast squats and you go to pick the bag up and run with it, it's just going to take its toll. I mean, running, 30 yards 4 or 5 times, by the end of that, you're going to start feeling it a little bit. So I'm not surprised that with every one, maybe it was starting to slow her down a little bit more. And like with the back squat workout, I think that was more of a decision based on safety, not based on trying to fight through the workout.
Gotcha. It just seemed like she should have been picking the bag up at a lower point so that when she brought it to her body, it was resting high on her like the rest of the girls. She was one of the few who was carrying it down low, except for the people who when it was slipping.
If you try to pick it up, if you try to pick that bag up too low, though, there's too much of the 150 up high, so it would just dump. You would end up
right. What?
The last comment. My nuts are going trick-or-treating dressed as Jacob Heppner and Cole Sager.
Steve, her boobs are real, buddy. We asked her on the show. I would love to have lower back problems too if that's what you're insinuating. Just to be correct. Chasing him. We would need another ugly guy on the show now. You can have me and JR on at the same time. Send a link as my least favorite comment of all time. Will Brandsetter, did someone post that?
I've never seen that comment. Usually there's a name in there.
You're right. Usually there is. Do we want to say anything else? Is there anything else we want to say about this workout? I know that we weren't pleased with it. The camera work was abominable. It was bad. Camera work was
snowman.
Extremely bad. You have you never use an overhead shot when people are. You never use a drone shot or overhead shot when people are doing overhead squats. Basically, there's no context to the movement. If the people are moving up and down in the place, you put the camera in the front of them. The other thing that was wrong is in the beginning of every heat that the women were in that I remember, they started with a drone shot or some sort of spider camera shot that was along the side of the rig, and you couldn't see the athletes. I have no idea whose idea it was to do those shots. I thought it's crazy because every other event's been presented pretty damn well, and this one was just a complete shit show. Abomination. Thank you, Spiegel. Abomination. Send Glassman a link. Does anyone else want to say anything about this workout?
I think I kind of already wrapped up my feelings on it. I thought it was just boring, too long. Look at this shit right here in the middle of the screen. Yep, the bag is down. He can cross the line. What are the standards?
Who is that? Who does that?
This is Medeiros.
I'm okay with the diving, but who's that in the second? Is that Jorge Fernandez who drops the bag before he crosses? Yeah, that's bad.
I don't know. I don't think that's that bad. And I also didn't think the event was boring. I think just how long it was between heats.
What did you guys do between workout or between?
I fell asleep.
Heats?
I fell asleep in my seat.
I created 2 videos and I posted a video.
Wait a second, Taylor. You don't think that's bad?
I think the standard. So it depends on what the standard was that they briefed. Depending on what that was, yes, potentially those are no reps. What I think the standard should have been was the bag lands in the white, and when you cross the line and the chip timer ticks, that's your score. I don't think there should have been any other standard.
Okay.
It's too hard to judge. You need a camera for all that.
Okay.
We're not video reviewing anything else, so why would they start with that? I mean, it just seems complicated. Get the fucking bag.
And Jorge does fit that standard according to what you're saying. Basically, that bag landed on the line and then he crossed it.
And sure, you can propel it a little bit, but it's not a football. You can't throw it 40 fucking yards. You got to carry the thing most of the way, almost all of the way, and you still have to cross the line with your ankle for the chip timer to tick. So
Fernandez had second place locked up. Who cares? Because you have to think of this event and every event as the final event, and it's a fucking 10-way tie at the CrossFit Games, and all the money's on the line. Because basically any event in any moment could be that time. So you can't be none of it mattered until the very last event. Here's the irony of it. If this was the final event and it was all the money on the line, people would think that this was more serious. But since it's not, people will forget about it by the time we get to Sunday to the last event.
Nope, they won't.
Okay, good. Sevan, ask Katie if they'll pay your L1 promo. Pay your L1 promo during breaks. Oh, if they'll play. Oh,
that'd be ideal.
I think I've bugged Katie enough today. The only athlete throwing that bag 40 fucking yards is Hopper because he thought he was going to be playing a baseball game. Okay.
I like the buzzers. Steven Bissant. I like the buzzers when they had them.
Brian, do you want to say any final thoughts before we move on to the next event? JR, do you have any thoughts? Do you want to say anything in closing about this event?
Yeah, thanks.
No, yeah. I mean, I think when the event was happening, it was really exciting and fun to watch.
Me too.
But the in-between just seemed like it was a really long time. And I asked Brian, I said, hey, dude, this is your realm. Like, have people paid for commercials? Are they having to do commercial breaks between every heat where they're having to satisfy partnerships and stuff like that? And he said, no, I don't think that's the case here.
I agree. I enjoyed watching the events too. Benjamin Bogart. Sevan's math is as good as his rogue's camera is as good. Sevan's math is as I can't read that. Okay. Let's check out event number 7, final event of Saturday.
We don't really know shit about it.
We know that Jacob Hepner thinks that a lot of girls aren't going to be able to do the first log. You think that's right, Brian?
I don't know. I missed that entire conversation, but I'm glad that he was able to give some insight.
We talked to Caroline Lamprey. Me and Taylor were before the last workout, and she said she's excited about it because she heard the first weight was supposedly really heavy. So she was happy with that because she was under the impression she thought maybe a lot of the guys wouldn't be able to do it and that Jeff would do well.
And that's Jeffrey Adler's coach, Caroline Lamprey.
Right.
And when you say first weight, how are they? Do we know how they're increasing weights, or we have no fucking clue?
She didn't know. She didn't know, and it doesn't seem like anyone does.
They let him.
Kotler.
Good dude. They let him out of prison.
Hey, Brian, just ask Kotler really quick if he knows anything about the next event, anything about the format.
We know that the Jerry can.
He either knows nothing or can say nothing. No, I don't know. He knows nothing.
I know that the.
Yeah, he doesn't know. He really doesn't know much.
You said the toilets are backed up?
We think the Jerry can's starting at 540.
You mean the log lift?
No, the tie break.
Yeah, they do the tie break first.
It's not a buy-in. It's a separate event.
It's completely separate. Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So they're going to carry the jerry can. They're going to get a time hiller. And then if you tie on the log, then they go to the jerry can carry. And the jerry can carries for time, not distance. Do we even know that?
For time, it's 70 yards.
How do you know that?
Feet. We were told that on the prior show. Who came on and talked about the carry? Brian.
Brian, yeah.
Yeah. He said 70 feet or 70 yards. I think it's yards.
And do we know how heavy they are?
No, he didn't know that. I would assume pretty heavy. They were 200 pounds each for the men at the games.
Wow.
Weren't they?
They were 100 in each hand, 70 in each hand for the females. That was 200 meters. So.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Okay.
I think you're thinking of the kettlebells, maybe.
No, I was thinking of the jerry cans. I just had the weights wrong.
And they're not really jerry cans, right? They're just basically
They're
bags
bags.
with straps
Yeah.
on them. Let's see here. Before that event started, we had discussed whether it was how many rounds would be too many to get to the finals, Taylor. And you said
5.
anything. I thought you said anything over 3.
No, I said 4 was on the line. I said 3 was fine. 4 was on the line. 5 was too much.
Okay, and
5.
they did 4.
They did 5.
They did 5.
Right? Brian?
Yeah, there were 5. 15, 15, and 5 too.
Too many? Stand by that?
Yeah, a 3-hour event for 16 minutes of work is just fucking crazy. It was just too much. I think everything about that, there was a lot about that didn't go great.
Did you say 16
like
minutes of work?
16 minutes of work across both
total
divisions.
between the males and females.
I think it's less than that. The males were doing 30-second heats.
Someone else gave me that number, so shit on them.
All right. Shit on someone else, Andrew.
Okay, go ahead, Brian.
First of all, men's event is now slated to start at 6:27 p.m. Central Time, so they're way behind.
God.
And then to what you were asking about, what were we asking about before that?
Oh, we're talking about how much time you were going to give us a stat on how much time they spent on the field.
Oh, the guys already gave you that. Yeah, they're right. It was about 16 minutes of total working time between the men and the women. But the time between the heats, while you guys were talking to Jacob, I was talking to Lazar, and he said from the athlete's perspective, it wasn't a big deal. But from the fans' perspective, it was. It was a long time to sit around, and I think that while you do want to showcase the athletes and you do want to consider them, he said the weight of the overhead spot was light enough that they were ready to go. They were having a good time, and it wasn't something that was a problem for them. But there were definitely a lot of fans that were like, "Man, what is going on? And this is a really long time to watch very little stuff."
What did happen? What caused them to get off schedule?
I think mostly the disputes and appeals process in the women's competition. It seemed I lost track of time, but I think that the women's event ended up taking 30 or 40% longer than the men's event.
Yeah, the men's event seemed to go much smoother. Is there a formal rogue appeals process?
Usually a competition would have something in place that the athletes understand. These are the steps to take if you have an appeal. I saw, several of the athletes talking to one of the lead guys for rogue down on the field. So I'm assuming that's whatever step 1 in the process.
I don't agree with this at all. Mark. The jerry cans could have been done prior to the actual competition. It's not like we need to watch it. We need to watch that.
The Gary or Jerry? Jay.
Whatever. You call them whatever you want.
Is it Jay? There we go.
Jerry cans are 100 pounds each hand for the men. We need to see that, right? We need to see the jerry can carry, right?
Yeah, of course we want to see it.
Yep.
Why the fuck?
I'd rather watch that than a 3-hour overhead squat event.
You might see more fails there too. People eating shit.
That'll be good.
This event that's the shoulder to overhead, this isn't something you can just wing, right? If you don't have practice with this log, this isn't like this is hard, right? This is a serious technical skill that's going to make people who've never done it extremely uncomfortable moving that log around their head, right? And even getting it in the rack position.
Yeah, you can expect at least they've all had a couple weeks to practice it since that video of Christy came out. So shouldn't be the first time for anybody when they get here.
Right. Hiller, do you own one of those?
I do not.
Taylor, do you own one of those?
Nope.
Does the gym you go to own one of those?
No, JR's gym does.
Better quit. So you've used one before?
I've touched it. I have not used it. I've picked it up. I have not.
What, like you did one of these? Like this?
Yeah,
is nice.
I pet it. I slid it underneath like some other shit in the gym before. I kicked it
Jared,
once.
you used it?
Just unloaded.
Okay.
Yeah, I've tried it unloaded too. It's hard as shit.
It's just different. Okay. I mean, I actually prefer to use that.
Scott Tetlow.
That neutral grip. So I think for a lot of people, if they're a little bit more tricep dominant, that neutral grip may help versus like a traditional shoulder to overhead grip seems to be a little bit more upper chest and shoulders, but who knows?
I love using the dumbbells neutral grip. Here's my fave.
Let's go ahead and pick winners for this next event. Let's go over and look at the male competitors.
Well, it's only $800 on a Rogue.
It's only $800. That's less than a torque sled. Hey, I bought a torque sled, Sevan. Do you want to fire me?
Hold on one second. Yes. Hold on one second. Brian, go ahead.
I was just talking to Scott Tetlow. He was saying hi to everyone except for Taylor.
Oh.
He said he's been listening to the show. Sorry, Taylor.
Medeiros trains at a strongman powerlifting gym in Squamish, Canada. He's definitely he's this log before in training. He's definitely used this log in training before. I don't think he trained. Is that where Ellie was hanging out while she was waiting for her visa to come together?
Actually, a few minutes ago, I was talking to Adam Neifert and their strength coach. His name is Jesse, who I really, really think we should get on the podcast. 13-year affiliate owner. He's been working with Justin for 2 years on the strength side of things. Daniel Robbins told me about him earlier today. And yes, they definitely have some practice with it.
What's the name of the CrossFit gym?
I will find that out.
Okay, Souza, let's get that guy on. Let's get that guy in the for the affiliate interview series. Okay, we will start with Taylor since he's paying such good attention. Who are the top 3 guys in this event?
I like Jeff Adler because of his clean and jerk. Gosh. I like Chandler. I like Jorge Fernandez. And then I want to go with Jack Farlow. Farlow, Jeff Adler, Jorge Fernandez, not in any particular order.
How about Roman just because he's Russian?
Thank you.
Andrew Hiller, who do you have for your top 3?
Nick Matthew, Jeff Adler, and Chandler Smith.
Wow.
Completely different, right?
Hey, here's why Chandler Smith is so good. This is a guy who's used to using bad technique to get shit up overhead.
Fucking right, he is.
J.R. Howell, who are your 3?
I like Jorge Fernandez, Chandler Smith, and Jeff Adler.
In that order?
I think Adler can still win this. I would say Adler, Fernandez, Chandler.
And Mr. Brian Friend, who are your 3 men to pick this, to win this?
I'm going to blow it up. They're totally different. Give me Medeiros, Quantz, and Hopper.
Wow.
Nice.
God, there's some good guys here. No one's picks seem dumb. Going back to the sandbag event, Lazar Jukic seemed to be doing great, except for the fact that he had a fucked up judge. Is his ankle better?
Well, I don't know if you guys noticed or not, but something that was slowing him down, maybe at least 1 squat repetition on every round, was that unlike some of the guys would slide down and then jump onto the pad from about 4 or 5 feet, he would slide almost all the way until he made contact with the pad just to not have to take the impact, and then he would move on to the barbell. So considering that too, I think he did awesome.
Oh, you're saying when he descended from the rope, he didn't jump down.
Right.
I also noticed, I would be curious what you guys think, that Jorge Fernandez and Daniel Brandon had the best jump that gave him a little bit of an edge when they approached the rope.
Justin Medeiros had a great jump on the final, on the last one, the last round.
And I didn't see Hopper, but I guess he's got a great jump too. Sorry, go ahead, Hiller.
No, I just wasn't paying attention to the jump, so I can't speak on it.
Some athletes who really focused on it were able to get up the rope a little bit quicker, just a hair quicker.
Who's going to take last place in the men in this workout?
I love this game. This is my favorite game.
Whoa. I just talked to Miko Salo. He's going to come whoop your ass, Hiller.
Yeah, what do you mean? Is he trying to do those in a closet? I don't think so.
Why do you say that?
He used to row in the closet, no? Or that was Miko Salo, no?
Yeah, he rode in the closet.
Okay.
When did he come out?
So. He hasn't.
He's still in there rowing. Who do you got for rowing? Who do you got for last place, Taylor?
Oh fuck. Man, this is a tough one. Either they're all so good or there are so many guys that I could pick for last. I want to say probably Scott Tetlow. Damn, I love Scott. Sorry.
Mr. Hiller.
I said Henrik Happalainen.
Okay, Happalainen for you. JR, last place.
I mean, this is bad to pick on him just because I know he's probably not going to want to be super stable on that ankle, but I would say maybe Lazar.
Safe pick. Brian, who's going to take last place? Okay.
You're muted.
Brian, you're muted. You're still muted?
Okay. Sevan, who do you think's going to get last? You haven't done this yet.
I don't want to say.
Dude, fuck that. Say it.
I don't want to say Lazar or Ricky. It's going to be a bad day
well,
for Lazar or Ricky.
You got to think about the carry because the carry is the tiebreak.
Yeah, I'm going to say Lazar or Ricky, unfortunately. Two of my favorites.
All right. I figured you didn't want to say it, but I had to ask.
Let's go over to the girls, to the females. Ryan, who's going to take last of the dudes?
No rap.
Exciting.
Nice shirt.
Collector's item. Collector's item.
Yep.
Dude,
Last
same.
place for this event.
I'll see you, man.
How about Noah Olson?
No Olsen. Solid guess.
They're all different.
Let's go over to
Solid
the female.
guess. Well, I actually think it's going to be Lazar because I don't know how much force he can get from his ankle, but I feel bad picking him.
Top three women in the log event that's going to happen today at 6:27 Central Time.
I'll go first.
Good.
Ellie, Spiegel, and Barnhart.
Wow.
Barnhart's a good pick. All right, I got Laura.
That is cool.
And then I've got Amanda, and then I've got Cara Saunders. Laura,
Ooh.
Amanda, Cara Saunders.
JR.
You're muted, JR.
Oh, sorry, JR. You're muted.
Sorry, thanks. I'm going to say Ellie, Spiegel, and then for my third pick, a huge wild card. Maybe she can continue the odd object strength trend. Dahlstrom.
I like
yeah,
it. I like it.
Matilda Garnes is also someone to watch, but all right, we'll move.
Brian, did you go yet? No. Brian, for the final, the three women you think are going to win this event, be the top of the heat.
Can we just ban Taylor? He ruins all the suspense.
Oh my God!
I was gonna pick Manuel Angonis and Matilda Garnes and Laura Horvath.
Great picks. Lots of great ladies in the lineup. Okay.
I like how they're all different, guys. That's pretty cool, isn't it? That's why the log is cool.
And our favorite part of the show.
Clean and jerk or snatch, it would be Spiegel.
Who's going to take last place out of this group? J.R. Howell.
Come on,
I'm
hurry
going to
up.
say Solberg.
Okay, Andrea Solberg.
Damn, that's a good pick. All right, I'm not going to choose the same
pick.
one.
Great pick.
Andrew Hiller.
Between, can I say? Oh fuck! I'll just choose. Daniel Brandon.
Oh, you're fucking out of your mind.
If you say so.
Mr. Taylor Self.
I think Emma McQuaid probably takes last.
That was my second pick, so good.
Yeah.
And Brian.
I think 100% this is so bad, but we'll take a different pick. I think Annika Greer is going to struggle here too.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Annika Greer too.
You just wait and see.
You see, Hiller Danielle Brandon's going to take second place at the. She's going to be at Rogue. She's going to take second place at Rogue.
I think she's going to do second. Okay, I can get down with that, but she's not going to do well in this event.
Brandon has a great overhead. Thank you. Thank you.
But can she get the ball? Yeah, that's huge.
Once it's there, it's great, but it's like from here to here.
Who sent me that text? I don't know if it's JR or Brian, but someone sent me the text, best overhead position in the game.
That would be JR probably.
I did, and I do think she has the best overhead position in the game. Her, Alexis Raptis, one of the two.
Alrighty, guys. I almost feel bad getting off the air because there is I could open the phone lines. Does anyone want to ask any of these guys questions? I feel bad getting off the air because you'll be stuck watching the strongman. But
I need to find some barbecues. Is anyone from Austin in the chat?
How are the Legends events going? Is it serious? Are they? Is someone trying to win?
We've been doing this with you. We haven't had a chance to watch.
Anyone? JR, have you seen anything about with the Legends?
No, but all of our shows have been going on when they've been going.
Okay. And what other events are there? There's Strongman, there's Legends, and there's
I went back and I watched the Legends. It's all right. It's cool to see them, but they're not really doing anything crazy. It's not. They don't really care. They're just having a good time.
And are they doing teams?
Yes.
Okay. Well, it's just for fun, Mark Bellflower.
Yeah, that's what I said. No.
Matt Souza, am I leaving any stone unturned?
Nothing that I could think of. I think we've covered all our bases here.
Alrighty. It looks like, according to what Brian just told us, I think at the beginning of the show, that the next event starts at 6:27. Is that the time you gave us, Central Time?
Oh boy,
that's the starting time for men.
Okay.
I think the carry is a little earlier than that. I could be wrong.
I mean, that was from one of the coaches of one of the athletes. So,
Susan, can we go to the Rogue Invitational Instagram account and check this out?
I like the Legends when they try to beat each other down going solo.
Legends is like watching the NFL Pro Bowl. Oh, that's a great photo. Hey, now that's legit. That's legit.
Look at the hair flying in the wind. Wow. You know who Daniel Brandon reminds me of? You know that Jedi from Star Wars, the alien Jedi with just that one long hair thing, but it's like a tentacle?
Yeah.
That's who she reminds me of.
Of course, Hiller knows the movie reference. Hey, did Justin Medeiros get the wind knocked out of him when he jumped over the finish line there?
Apparently he did, yeah. I do have hair envy. She has great hair.
Oh, I just got a text from yeah, okay. That's what Adam said too. He got the wind knocked out of him. Okay, let's see. Can you click on the top left and see if they've refined that schedule right there?
Let's talk about the how the strongmen are going to be talking shit about how the CrossFitters can't lift shit on the logs.
They're definitely going to have a field day.
They're going to have a field day.
Let's see them run 800 meters.
So are you guys telling me that there's no chance that event 7 is going to happen in 22 minutes?
Well, they're right now doing a log lift.
No. The women have been going first today. So the women will likely go before the men. The men, I spoke to one of the coaches of the men. He said 6:27 start time for the men. So the women, on the schedule that's in front of you, how much time before the men were the women supposed to start?
22 minutes at 5:10 Central Time. No, yeah. Is that 22 minutes?
Oh, it doesn't show the difference on the schedule between men and women. So, no, I think it's going to start sometime between 5:10 and 5:30.
Oh, okay. Well, shit. Then we're right on track. Then we're not running late. Oh, okay. I can see that. What's up, Danielle?
I don't know why. That's weird.
Does anyone know in the chat when the event starts? Are we still at 5:10 Central Time? Yeah, that'd be 21 minutes. All right. All right, guys. Thank you for checking in. We will be back for the final show for Saturday evening, 5 or 10 minutes after the show is done, and give you all the insights from JR, Howell, Andrew Hiller, Taylor Self from Self-Made Training, Brian B. Friendly, and Mr. Matt Souza behind the scenes. We will see you guys later.
You don't even have to want to do CrossFit. You don't have to want to be a coach. You don't have to want to be a trainer. If you just want the operating manual to your body, it's not just Forge and Elite Fitness. It's the operating manual to the human genome. You'll take this CrossFit Level 1 seminar and you will walk away inspired. From the second you leave, your entire life will change. You will make significant changes to your life because you are excited. You will start tweaking with your diet. You'll start tweaking with your movement. You'll start tweaking with who you hang out with. Everything will take a shift. For some people, it'll be massive. For some people, it'll be a little bit. No matter what, you'll move towards a better life. Everyone is going to sense it in you that you are more accountable, more personally responsible, happier, more helpful, more thoughtful human being. And you'll be nicer to look at. You might talk too much shit